What's going on? So you remember when old Steve Kerr said that Kevin Durant was more gifted than Michael Jordan. You remember that? you know, it's amazing what cats will say out of their mouths when the money is there and the time is right. Golden State is stinking so bad that being average is like a goal. Who knew? This is a team that's losing 20 plus games already by All Star break when that used to take maybe 2 years. What happened to the Magic, Steve Kerr? Well, you need to worry about what you got in place of you. So, how do I address this? More gifted. Now, when you're more gifted, does it come to you? Does it come to you naturally? Hmm. It's comical to me how people love to tear something down on Michael Jordan. You know, I think Kerr still got a headache from Jordan putting that hand on him. But anyway, I'm just saying, you know, um, if Kevin Durant was more gifted than Michael Jordan, he sure is. If you want to believe that lie, but if you want, let us play along and go along. If he was more gifted, he sure as heck ain't more smarter. I know one thing. You know how I rip on LeBron not knowing how to utilize Anthony Davis and always crying for more help? Well, Durant panhandles himself, of course. His whole career has been panhandling one-on-one post when he got to Golden State and crying because he can't be happy. Do you really think Michael Jordan would have left a sure thing in Golden State? Do you really think he wouldn't have put a two-piece on Draymond Green and told them, you need to shape up and get this ship together? Do y'all really think that would have been the case? Do you really think he would have made Klay Thompson feel like an outcast and not bring him in more and utilize what he had and get Bob Myers to retool and keep the pieces together? Do you think he would have folded up like a chair after his toe was on the line against Milwaukee and not be able to keep Kyrie and James Harden on the same page and not get, not work with Steve Nash? Do you really think he would have done that? Do you really think that Devin Booker would just be a guy who stat pads, who is happy with being a double junior whopper of everybody who was supposedly the second coming of Jordan, but has never gotten to the first status of that? Do you think he'd be happy with that? Do you think Bradley Beal would walk around? See, when we talk about gifted, that also means common sense and smarts. So Steve Kerr and for all those Kevin Durant people who want to come, he ain't smart, so he ain't the most gifted. See, because it does go hand in hand. You got to be smart. And to be honest with you, when I think about Kevin Durant, I think about Fred G. Sanford, you big dummy, because that's the only thing I can think of him. Gifted people don't tend to do dumb things. Kevin Durant tends to stay on stuck to dumb. Going to Brooklyn to form a super team when that was not going to work and disrespecting your coach from the jump was not going to work. And then you fool around and go out west, start this narrative again, get coaches fired, retool your team, tag up with some. Who else does it remind me of? You know. Now I know that when Magic Johnson went to Boston to retire with Larry Bird and he had that Celtic jersey on in disguise, but I just know that when LeBron retires, Durant's gonna have a LeBron jersey on the court. But he really has been doing an impersonation of LeBron for most of these years. You can't beat him. Well, you didn't want to join him, but you have been trying to impersonate him. And while LeBron is nerve wracking, he need to retire, and I can't stand him. His antics on the court and all the stuff that goes along. I will say this: he's smarter than Durant enough. Durant doesn't command near enough of his talents. If anything, he's underutilized his skill set. He scores a nice, crispy 25, 27 points. We've never seen him go crazy. What would have been like if he went for 40 night in, night out? He just went crazy. Like if he really went for it. He's just so cool and he's in cruise control. That's why he got labeled the bus rider. That's why when Charles Barkley and Shaq called him the bus rider, gifted knows your talents. Being Mr. Cool like you Dean Martin on the sticks with Sammy and Frank rolling it, that's not the gifted. That's part of the crew. Gifted takes over. He don't take over nothing. So I don't know what. So, because let me tell you something, Steve Kerr. Part of being gifted, you got to use high IQ or smarts. I don't get that from Kevin Durant. I get dodo and shrug shoulders and okay, I'll go along with the program. I'll whatever you say. You really think that he's elevating Devin Booker's game and Bradley Beal in Phoenix? Y'all really think he elevated Kyrie and James Harden in Brooklyn? You really think that he got all of that he could have gotten out in Golden State in totality, despite the injuries, and then I get disrespected by Draymond Green? That's not gifted. Gifted would have handled those situations a lot. As a matter of fact, he'd be in the same rings discussion with LeBron and Curry, and maybe one more if you think about it. But now, see, because he can get any shot he wants and moves around and gets to not be held accountable for his shortcomings, somehow he gets labeled like he. Please don't insult Jordan like that. Don't insult. Believe me. And I'll tell you something. There's no way in the world Durant would have flourished with Scottie Pippen because he's kind of like Scottie. He's a better scorer, but he's kind of like him. He's always looking for something more, somebody else to kind of hold a hand and take the lead. That's not more gifted. But I think they get their words twisted because there's a lot of meaning when we start talking about gifted. That a guy who knows he's gifted can take over and do things. Cats that be on standby and waiting for something to happen, or they don't make the high IQ decisions, you're not the most gifted. Please hit like, subscribe, welcome thoughts, comments, and I understand. Please wash your hands, keep your mind clear, watch out for another. Share it if you like, hit that membership, stay safe, stay blessed, stay woke, stay free. I'll be honest with you. Steve Kerr would be considered more gifted than Durant because he was smart enough to know to go to Jordan, to go to San Antonio, to leave Phoenix and go to Golden State over the Knicks to get the coaching job. But that's gifted and smart. He makes high IQ moves, even though he don't look too bright right by now. But anyway, just saying, I'm out.